Introducing MistoLine. This is another new ControlNet models that you are able to trace line from the source image like you are using LineArt, but this is focusing training for SDXL-ControlNet models. So in this videos, we are going through using the MistoLine, the SDXL-ControlNet models that is adaptable like LineArt conditioning, and you can use that for any SDXL existing checkpoint models to run your image generations or animated videos generation as well. Right now, they have released this paper. As you can see, there's some different input dimensions, settings for their diagram showing in here. So the A part from stable diffusions and setting different decoder and encoder, and also each blue block of using different dimensions. You can project that into the ControlNet models, and it will be able to trace like this examples here with not only the line tracing like a general line art ControlNet models, but you are also able to receive the details of between the elements or on the elements like this car and the castles. They have more details within each elements in that. So let's check out their GitHub project. So currently they are supporting for SDXL, and they are also able to run in ComfyUI right now. So let's check this out with their ComfyUI custom nodes that they are creating for, especially for MistoLine pre-processors. Now as you can see, there's a lot of examples here showing how details they align, tracing with this ControlNet models, creating the ControlNet output of this and checking out this one is pretty cool. So right here, as you can see, the living rooms from the original image tracing using, they call this the Anyline image, which is the preprocessor's output of MistoLine. And right underneath here, it has the Anyline preprocessors plus the MistoLine ControlNet models and generate the output of this living room image. Now compare with the original image. As you can see, it almost can be traced exactly the same line and all the details within each element. In here, for example, outside of this glass door and the outside of the backyard of the living room, you can see all the leaves and trees are also able to trace from the Anyline preprocessors. And also from here, you see this spaceship are very similar as the output of this MistoLine output. And all the shape of this futuristic spaceship. And then also even able to trace the text label on top of the spaceship are able to trace that as well. Even the original image are kind of look darker from some shadows covering up, but it's still able to trace those letters from the original image as the Anyline output. So we are going to install this custom notes. So first of all, we have to install step by step manually right now. I believe they don't have list in ComfyUI Manager yet. So what are we going to do is going to using git clone and clone this in our custom notes folder, then navigate into the ComfyUI-Anyline folder and do the dependent installations for the necessary components that running this custom nodes. So by running this, you are also going to download the Hugging Face repository, which is the models files. So when we go back to the Hugging Face page, we go to the Files and Versions tab. You will see this Anyline subfolder in here. Then you're going to download this PTA extensions files. Then you are ready to go. And also you can download the MistoLine save tensors files. Now this is the ControlNet models files as well. You can download either each one of this. It is the same thing to run as the ControlNet models. So we are going to try out this right now. So first of all, we have to go to the ComfyUI custom notes subfolder. So right in the ComfyUI folder, we see the custom notes subfolder. We click into this folder and we type CMD on the toolbar. Click enter and you are able to showing the text prompt windows here. Then paste this git clone command line and press enter. It will start downloading the ComfyUI-Anyline custom notes. Now this is the preprocessors for the MistoLine ControlNet models. So right here we finished download all the files. Next we are going to in this folder. So CD of this folder. Now we are locating in here. Then we got to do the pipe install requirement T and press enter again. It will download and install all the necessary components for this model. It shouldn't have any problems if you have correct Python installed in your local PC. So it's successfully done, and we can close down this command prompt and get this download files in MistoLine Hugging Face page. So click into here, the Anyline, we see this mted.pth files, then we click downloads. Let's see where we should put these files in. So once we click the checkpoints, you can download it and locate that into this path. So it's in the ComfyUI-Anyline custom node folder, and then you click this checkpoint subfolder inside this custom node and download it into this path. I have done this here and chosen save. If you're confused, you can download this workflow from their examples here, and it will be able to run this MistoLine text-to-image workflow using MistoLine as the control net. This is an enlarged image of this workflow. Right here, as you can see, it loads the image and goes to the MistoAI-Anyline image-to-image custom node. Then it will go to the Apply Control Net custom node for the MistoLine control net. As we mentioned, we also have to download the ControlNet model, so which means we have to come back to the Hugging Face page and download one of these 2.5 gigabytes file. In my case, this is from 5 days ago, and I think this will be the one for the latest version. So let me copy these names. Let's say this is MistoLine, and rename the file as MistoLine SDXL. You can customize whatever file name you want before you save that, but then remember, you have to go back to your ControlNet Models folder, which is in the Models subfolder, and inside the subfolder, you go to ControlNet and save it in here. Once everything is downloaded, we'll boot up the ComfyUI and check it out. The ComfyUI is starting, and let's see if there are any error messages coming out from that newly installed custom node. Hopefully nothing will go wrong, and we can smoothly go through this and run our new MistoLine control net. It looks like everything is smooth, no errors, and we're able to switch to the ComfyUI right now. I'll use their example workflow files as the tutorial case studies here. Right here, we have the example workflow that runs the MistoLine, and as you can see, there's one red box here that I haven't installed. This image resize node. It's just a pixel image and get image size. Maybe I don't need this one. I can bypass it and just leave that out. Here, we have the image size, create a latent image using that size, and it's also loading the ControlNet model. As you can see, this is calling the SDXL MistoLine v2 by default in this workflow. Remember, I just renamed the ControlNet to a different file name, so click refresh again, and you'll see your own custom ControlNet model downloaded on your local machine. Right here, I got my MistoLine SDXL saved tensors file that I downloaded, so I'll choose this one, and the checkpoints the examples are using is the Hyper SDXL. In my case, I don't use that one. Let's see if there are any other SDXL models I can use. Let's try Dragonaut XL version 5. For the low VAE, we're going to use the SDXL VAE saved tensors. That's very basic and simple to run. Let's see the text prompt right here. As you can see, there's nothing in the positive text prompt, and in the negative prompt, they have lots of negative prompts for controlling the image quality. Let's find a large image that's able to run in SDXL, and we can try it. Okay, so in my case, I have another living room image that I always use for animated dance video backgrounds. Let's try this one. Just a very similar example to what they did on their GitHub page. Hopefully, we'll get some similar results like that with my living room example image. Going to the Apply Control Net node here, as you can see, it's connecting this control net model, which is the MistoLine SDXL. It's using the source image as my original image loaded in here. Now, as I just mentioned, this is the MistoLine pre-processor running. In the preview image here, you'll see there's a MistoLine output image drawing and tracing the black and white color image. Let's run it one time and see what happens. So right here, after the MistoLine preprocessor, it shows the output traced image of my original living room image. It shows very detailed. You can see even outside of the windows there are other buildings, and it's able to trace those lines and some shading like a depth map. also combining the LineArt into one ControlNet model in this MistoLine output. Let's see the output image. It has totally different coloration overall for this image. As you can see, the shape of the output image is very similar to the traced line preprocessor output image. Here, we have the windows, the curtain is right here, and the coffee tables are also tracing almost exactly the same shape or form. And except there's some difference in the output image regarding the things happening outside of the windows. As you can see right here, they got nothing in the traced line in this part outside the windows, but this other building view is based on the checkpoint model's imagination to do some creative rendering for the outside window view. However, the bottom part here is able to trace some plants. And right on the traced line here, you can see there are some lines and shading like a depth map of little elements behind these windows that are able to be captured from the preprocessor's output. So far, I think this is a very detailed ControlNet model. It combines line art with depth mapping together, and it's even more detailed than a realistic line art preprocessor, combining those existing older models that we have in ControlNet. I think this is a really cool model for SDXL, and it helps SDXL go further in creating good images and animations. We can try it on an upcoming video using this ControlNet model with SDXL for animation generation as well. So, I hope this has inspired you, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. See ya!